Jurassic Park is my all-time favourite movie. It has been since I saw it 7 times in the cinema as a 10-year-old dinosaur-loving kid. So I was quite disappointed when the last 2 movies, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, were less than stellar. Luckily, Rebirth is actually pretty decent.
Survival is a long shot. What the hell are those? They're helping the mosasaur defend territory, stalk, hunt.
None of what you just said is good.
Set about 5 years after the events of Dominion, so I think it said 32 years after the events of the original Jurassic Park movie. Rebirth, the latest entry in the Jurassic franchise, number 7 in the overall franchise, and number 4, technically, if you count it as part of the Jurassic World movies, which I am because it has world in the title. After the events of Dominion, dinosaurs have mostly retreated to a select few islands along the equator. That's kind of explained away with, ecological exposition-y reasons. Not really that important to the story. Basically, it's a plot device that allows the dinosaurs to go back to being contained on an island, or, a series of islands, which kind of walks back the plot points that they introduced at the end of Fallen Kingdom and for most of Dominion. But I think for the franchise as a whole, and at least for this movie specifically, that's a good thing. Corporate guy Rupert Friend enlists some mercenaries, namely Scarlett Johansson's Zora and Mahershala Ali's Duncan, along with Proto-Alan Grant, a dinosaur expert Henry Loomis, played by Jonathan Bailey, to go on a mission to one of these said islands in order to collect some dino DNA.
Dino DNA!
From 3 of the largest dinosaurs on the island, the largest land dinosaur, Titanosaur, the largest sea dinosaur, the Mosasaur, which we saw in all 3 of the Jurassic World movies. Did we see it in Dominion? I think we did. And the largest air dinosaur, which I've practiced the pronunciation, Quetzalcoatlus. So, yeah, Quetzalcoatlus is the big flying dinosaur. Quetzalcoatlus. There is also a plot thread about how the specific island that they're going to was one of the sites that they used for experimentation and, crossbreeding and DNA manipulation to create mutated dinosaurs. That does play a part in the story, but I'm not going to say too much on that for spoilery reasons, although they kind of do pretty much give that away in the trailer, but I'm not going to touch on it here. It is part of the plot, but it's actually probably the weakest part of the plot. I would say they didn't need that element for this movie to be enjoyable, but it's there, and that is what it is. That pretty much covers the plot. In the director's chair this time, we have Gareth Edwards, who directed Godzilla, the creator, his debut movie Monsters, which is brilliant, by the way. Check that out if you've not seen it. And Rebirth is written by David Koepp, who was the writer of the original Jurassic Park movie. There's no characters from any of the previous 6 movies, so it's very much a clean slate in terms of actors and characters. This is kind of both a blessing and a bit of a curse, but more on that later. The story itself is perfectly serviceable. It's a fairly by-the-numbers adventure movie. The MacGuffin conceit of having to collect 3 different sets of DNA from the 3 different dinosaurs in 3 different locations very much gives it a episodic, almost video game level structure to it. That might sound like a bit of a negative, but I think it actually works well for the pacing of the movie because they've got 1, 2, 3 dinosaurs to get to, so it helps internally pace the movie, if that makes sense. The script, the dialogue for the most part is quite good. There's a few characters that are a little bit one-note, borderline annoying and a little bit caricaturish, but only a little bit. On the whole, I would say the script and the characterization is quite good. The actors look like they're having an absolute blast, even though apparently it was quite a difficult shoot with, on location in Thailand and places and being in the jungle and in the water and stuff. But Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali and even Rupert Friend, they all look like they're having a blast. I think getting to be part of a Jurassic movie, it was, was the appeal for anyone who gets to be in a Jurassic movie. I would say this movie, Rebirth, it kind of cherry picks the best moments from each movie in the franchise, pieces them together, threads a kind of fairly simple story and plot line through each of those moments, and the result is a fairly enjoyable but relatively forgettable and fleeting movie experience. They made a point in the marketing of this movie that it was shot on film, and I can see why they wanted to make a point about that, because it does add an element to the movie. Shooting on film, on location, obviously you can't avoid the fact that there's CGI. In fact, the actors talked in interviews about how they said about 99% of it was CGI. There wasn't as much practical dinosaurs on this movie. However, the locations were real and it was shot on film, and that definitely does give it a bit of an old school organic look to the frame, just the way faces are rendered on film, the way the greens of the jungle look. It's hard to articulate, but it does come across much more natural and organic, and it's got less of a digital sheen to it, so that definitely played in its favour. However, the fact that there was little to no practical dinosaurs used, that doesn't play to its strengths, which is a shame, because that's one of the great things about the Jurassic movies, is when you can see, oh, that's an actual T-Rex head that they've built, as opposed to, that's clearly CGI. Speaking of CGI, for the most part, it's very good. However, there is a couple of shots, like literally just 2 or 3, but they do stand out quite glaringly as being obviously green screen, background, floor, sky replacement. I don't know what it was about those specific shots, but they definitely stood out in a big bad way. It's still kind of mind-boggling how the OG Jurassic Park movie, which is like 30 plus years old, how it still holds up. Even the CGI, now it's not perfect, but it is better than some modern movies, and it is 30 years old. So that's a testament to how Spielberg used CGI and blended seamlessly live action puppets and animatronics with CGI. There is a mini Jaws-esque 20 minutes sequence in this movie. It's near the start, it's in the first act of the movie, and that stands out as being one of the best sequences in the movie. It is a lot of fun, and it is very adventurous and very, very fun to watch. There's also a T-Rex sequence halfway through the movie that involves a life raft as well, which is actually the standout of the movie. That was brilliantly done. That was really well done. Score-wise, we've got Alexander Desplat on scoring duties, taking over from, I think Michael Giacchino did the Jurassic World movies, and John Williams obviously did the original. It's almost an impossible task to follow on from someone like John Williams, but like Michael Giacchino, I think Alexander Desplat did a decent job of maintaining the essence of the sound of Jurassic Park, of the score, and putting his own spin on it. But whenever you do hear notes of that original cue, it just reminds you how bloody good the score for Jurassic Park was, and it just kind of makes you want, I just want to listen to the original score, just put that in. But obviously they can't do that, they have to make a new score. But yeah, does a good job, but John Williams' score is John Williams' score. It didn't feel too short, Jurassic Park 3, looking at you. Didn't feel too long, which was good. I think it clocks in at about 2 hours and 14 minutes, according to IMDb. There's no end credit sequence, so you could probably chop 10 minutes worth of credits off of that, and the movie kind of comes in at a crisp 2 hours and 4 minutes, I would say. It's got a more casual, more playful tone at times than most of the other Jurassic movies, which I think for this movie as a standalone movie works in its favour, but as part of the overall franchise, it makes the stakes feel like they're less important. So the playful tone works for this movie on its own, but not for the franchise as a whole, if that makes sense, if you get what I mean. It's a mid-level Jurassic Park movie overall. I enjoyed it. I'll probably catch it again in the cinemas. Definitely better than Fallen Kingdom. Definitely better than Dominion. I would say it's somewhere in the middle of the franchise ranking, like I said, somewhere along the lines of, with Jurassic Park 3. Probably sits just above Jurassic Park 3 in my ranking. I'll probably do a separate ranking video, which I'll link to below as well. So I think I'll go with 7 out of 10 for Jurassic World Rebirth. It's a perfectly enjoyable but ultimately forgettable dinosaur movie set in the Jurassic Park universe. It's a standalone entry in the franchise, no characters from the previous movies, which overall I think works well and is a benefit for this individual movie. And that's us. I have other Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies on the channel. I'll link to them here and here. I will probably do an overall franchise ranking, which I'll put at the side as well, and I'll catch you in the next video.